today we're going to do a summary of this topic. This topic is very long, so make sure you pay full attention for your next test. All right, expanding brackets, we'll do this. A times B, A times C. So you go A times B plus A times C, which is AB plus AC. Yep. How about the next one? What if there are two brackets? You just do it like that. A times C plus AD plus BC plus BD. Right, so we can do both of these. Okay. Oops. BD. Okay. What if, now have a look at the next one. What would this be? What would this be? They both look the same except one has a plus, one has a minus. This is a difference of two squares. Difference of two squares because the two middle term will cancel. And then the next two is perfect square, so you do a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? And then the next one will be a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So note the similarity and differences between them. Very important. People can get mixed up with the first, this one, and the last one. It's very easy to get confused. So make sure you see the difference. One is plus and minus. One is a minus square. So the minus square means a minus b, a minus b. That's different from this one, where one has a plus, one has a minus. Okay? All right, any question on the expanding? So this is the expanding. We'll also have factorizing. So again, we'll go through all the different types. So starting with the most simple type, you take out a common factor, like that. And if there are four terms, you group in pairs. So these two as a pair, A takes out. And then these two as a pair, B is common. And you will find that these two are the same, which you can take out C plus D, A plus B. Okay? All right, good. That's good. Okay, next one is four terms. Next one, two terms. This is the reversal of this one, where we expanded the difference of two squares. Now we go backwards, factorizing difference of two squares. Right, get that? And hopefully remember these two. These are the two perfect square I just expanded from before. A plus B all square, A minus B all square. Note the structure. They have three terms, the A square and the B square, as well as the middle term, 2AB. Okay, note how it becomes a perfect square. You need all three terms. All right. Yep. Okay, any question? Factorizing and expanding. They're opposite of each other. And in fact, we just did the above one in reverse, isn't it? Right? See, the first one is same as that one. The second one's same as this one. Okay. Any question? We're now going to go on to do more examples. So we're going to look at examples on difference of two squares. So let's write it down again. So it's a squared minus b squared equals to a plus b, a minus b. So you're going to use these rules to factorize the first one, which is write it as 2x all squared minus 3 squared, like that. So it's like this one, a squared minus b squared. So something squared minus something squared become 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3. Yep. And the same thing for the second one. The second one, you have to write the 7 as a root 7 square, like that. So it becomes x plus root 7, x minus root 7. Notice that it doesn't matter which one I write first. I could write the minus first, then I'd write the plus, or I could write the plus first, then minus. It's the same thing. Okay? All right, so that's difference of two squares. We'll also know how to factorize trinomial, because I got three terms. Trinomial means three. Trinomial. 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 And this is monic, because the number in front of x squared is 1. And when it's a monic, it's very easy to factorize. We have to find two numbers which add to get b, but plus That should be a times, isn't it? All right, times to give C. Times. All right. Okay, good. Times to get C. So now what we do is, let's do this one. So we have to find two numbers which multiply to get -7, add to get, multiply to get -18, add to get -7. So what do? We look at all the factors of -18. So starting with 1 times 18 is 18, and then list them off. So you go -1 times 18, -2 times 9, -3 times 6. Yeah, -2, 9 and -2. Yep, that worked. No, -9 plus 2. Right? So you can write x minus 9, x plus 2. Done. Right, trinomial and difference of two squares. Any questions? These are the basic type, and there's 3 more pages to go. When you're ready, go to the next page. Right, good. Right, next we're going to look at non-monic. Non-monic is a bit harder. What's a non-monic? Has a number in front of x squared. Right? So what do? Is find. So use grouping, split the bx term using two numbers that give a times c. So you have to times a and c together, multiply to give a times c, add to get the b. Okay? Multiply, let me write this again, multiply. Okay. So what you do is a times c. So you have to go 6 times -4 equals to -24. Right? And find two numbers which multiply to get -24, but plus to get the b, which is -5. Okay? So what are they? So again, you list the numbers. The numbers are -24. So the numbers are -1, start with 1, then increase the next one, which is 12. And then, what did you say? -8 and 3. -8 and 3 is correct. Right? So now what you need to do is to split the -5x into two terms, which is the -8x plus 3x. Okay? And write -4 and the 6x squared here. And you group in pairs. Alright, so you factorize by grouping in pairs. So you're going to go equal to, the common factor is 2x, so you write 3x minus 4 plus, if there's no common factor, put a 1, 3x minus 4, like that. And then you see the 3x minus 4 is common. That's why group in pairs, because you end up getting a common one, 2x plus 1 at the end. Alright, question. Now some of you from the other class would have learned the other way. I could also show you that way. So method 2 is, if you start with 6, you just write 6x over 6. So you just put lots of 6. And then see the numbers you just found, which is these two. You just put it over here. So you don't have to split the term and group in pairs, like that. But you have to do the extra step of factorizing. You will see there's a common factor of 2 there, which you can take out. And there's a common factor of 3 there, which you can take out. And the 2 and the 3 will cancel the 6. So it can be quicker. So it's up to you which method to use. But you might like to use this one because it looks a bit easier. Okay? Alright, any question? Alright, think about this. So method 1 is like this, split the two terms, but you still have to use the negative 24, negative 5, but the first one is splitting the terms and factorize in pairs. But method 2 requires you to write 6x, 6x, and 6 there. And then you have to factorize the common factor. Alright, factorizing by computing square. Oh, you don't need to do this? Alright. Yeah, we didn't do the exercise, so you don't need to know it. For the test as well. Alright, let's move on. Alright, we're going to solve equations. Solve equations. So we're going to solve quadratic equations. How do we solve quadratic equations? These are the steps. You either factorize if it's easy to factorize, or use completing square if you can't factorize, if the coefficient is 1, or use the formula if the coefficient x squared is not 1. Okay, let's first write down the quadratic formula that we learned a while ago. Minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. You must memorize this formula. Okay? Write it down. This is the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Alright, so the thing inside the square root has a special name. It's called the discriminant. It tells you how many solutions you have. Because it's inside the square root, when it's positive, it has got 2 solutions. 2 solutions, or 2 answers. Let's write it again. 2 solutions. 2 solutions. And if it's 0, we say 1 solution. If it's less than 0, we have no solution. Because you cannot square root a negative number, right? If that's negative, you cannot square root. You get no solution. Alright, any question? So we're going to use this to help us. Alright. Let me see. So we're going to use this, solve the following equation using the most appropriate method. So your first step is always going to make the right side 0. Write this. Move all terms to the right side. That's your first step. And then you check, can you factorize easily? Yep. Yeah, so move the 12 to the outside, the negative become plus. Yep. And then what do you get? You get what are the numbers that work. So you go 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and then you try the negative. Negative 1 times negative 12, negative 2 times negative 6, negative 3 times negative 4. Which one will work? That adds up to negative 7. This one, isn't it? Right? So you write, therefore, the fastest way is factorize. So you write this. Yep. And then you say, using the null factor law, the null factor law states that a times b equal to 0, either a is 0 or b is 0. So now we can say either x minus 3 is 0 or x minus 4 is 0. So therefore you get x equal to 3 or x equal to 4. Yep. So that's solving equations. Very important not to get confused. This is solving equation. There's an equal sign. Different from when you try to factorize. See, you're factorizing this, but you're not writing what x is. You just stop there because just factorize. Whereas this one, you factorize and you find out what x is because it's an equation. Okay? Not the difference between them. Alright, any question? Good. And then we've got 2 more pages to go through, or 1 more page. Alright, next page, we've got these 2. So the last page, yep, okay. Alright, let's go through this one. So to solve the next one, you need to expand that. X squared minus 2x equal to 10. X squared minus 2x minus 10. Right? So you get quadratic. So you try to factorize. Will it work? So you do negative 1 times 10, negative 2 times 5, negative 5 times 2, negative 10 times 1. There's only 4 possibilities, but which of these work? None of them. So what do we do? So we can't factorize. What method do we have? We have completing the square. How do we complete the square? you write x squared minus 2x, but you have to move the constant term to the right. Like that, we're going to use complete square. Right? Okay, so what you do is, you plus something on both sides. What do you have to add? 1 square, you halve the 2, which is 1, but you square it. Right? So you halve 2. Half 2. And then you get a perfect square, and the perfect square will be x minus 1 whole bracket square, right, equal 10 plus 1 square is 11. And then what do you do next? You're going to get x minus 1 equal square root plus and minus. And then you're going to make x the subject, x equal to 1 plus and minus root 11. So we'll solve the equation by completing the square. Okay, yep. All right. Before I continue, so basically when you see that it's actually two answers, 1 plus and 1 minus. These are the two answers. We say this is in exact form. Exact. And sometimes they may say correct to 1 decimal place. So in that case, you just do it on a calculator. You just go 1 plus, where's the plus root 11? Oops, root 11. You'll get 4.3. Or the other one will be minus 2.3, negative 2.3. Right? Now you wonder why this one doesn't work, because if I actually multiply 4.3 by negative 2.3, what do you get? Let's do that. 4.3 times negative 2.3, you get about 10. And then if you plus them together, you will get 2. So that's why it didn't work. The two numbers are actually irrational numbers. These one didn't work because these numbers cannot be found by just testing these. So that's why we can't find them. All right. You may wonder, how come we don't use the formula? Let's use the formula to solve it. Let's see if it's quicker. So let's use the formula to solve. So method 2 is to solve with formula. Method 2, formula. So the question was x squared minus 2x minus 10 equal to 0. So if we use the formula, you write x equal to minus negative 2 plus and minus b squared, which is negative 2 squared, minus 4ac over 2 times 1. Like that. And then double minus is plus. And then you have to work this out on a calculator. 2, which is 4 plus 40, so you get 44. Right? You get that? And you say it looks a bit different because you can simplify it. Because 44 is 4 root 11, right? Which you can take the 2 out. Like that. And then the 2 gets factorized out. And then the 2 get cancelled, becoming this. Is that faster or slower? Slower, yeah. It's slower if this number is even, right? If this even, is faster by completing the square rather than use the formula. Okay? So don't always use the formula because it's not always the quickest. It's particularly when this coefficient is even, right? And it's harmonic. So when it's harmonic and it's even, use the completing square. But if it's neither of the above, then use the formula for that one. That one I think use the formula. Okay? Okay, hopefully you got everything down. And then we're going to go to the next one. Okay, the next one, you have to move all terms to the left. So minus both sides by x squared. So you get 2x squared plus 3x. You get 7x plus 1 minus x squared plus 3x, plus 1 you get 4. Okay, you get this, right? So when it is odd or non-monic, you can use the formula or factorize. Now let's see if you can factorize it. You have to go 2 times 4. Let's try factorization, because that's usually the quickest. So you go factorize, so you go 2 times 4 is 8. So you find two numbers which multiply to get 8, add to get 7. What numbers would it be? Yep. -1 and -8. But then if they don't add to get positive 7. But then -1 and 8 works here, but then they don't multiply to get positive 8. So it didn't work, isn't it? So we can't really factorize. None of them work. So what do? You use the formula. X equal to minus b plus or minus. So whenever things doesn't work, use the formula. Like that. And completing square will take very long. So it's faster with the formula. Okay? So let's use the formula equal to minus 7. Minus 7 plus or minus 7 squared minus 4ac over 2a. So non-monic and something you can't factorize, use the formula. But if you find it hard to factorize, also use the formula, because that could be quick, right? Then try to find all the possibilities. So you go like this again. 49 minus 4 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2, 4 times 16 times 2, 32 over 4, like that. 49 minus 32 is 17, right? Okay, so you just go like this. Done. You don't have to simplify, because you can't simplify. So we'll learn all 3 ways: formula, completing square, or factorize to solve the quadratic equation. Okay, I'll go back. All right, so today you'll do the test yourself, not test yourself, the chapter review and the challenge. Okay, you can start now. And tomorrow we'll start our next lesson. We'll start a new topic called. All right.